Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news tonight. Glad you could join us this Saturday. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines of this hour. Senior leaders campaign in Gujarat. Party President Amit Shah and Arun Jaitley address rallies for the BJP. Opposition Congress fields former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, who talks about the ill effects of demonetization and GST in meetings with traders. Election Commission team in Gujarat to review preparations for elections, meets with district election officers to take stock of polling staff, electronic voting machines and other poll-related logistical issues. The US Senate approves sweeping tax overhaul, moves closer to President Donald Trump's goal of slashing taxes for businesses and the rich, offers ordinary Americans a mixed bag of changes. And in cricket, on the first day of the third test against Sri Lanka, Indian skipper Virat Kohli enters the 5,000-run club after hitting his 20th century. His 156 not out helps India reach 371 for the loss of 4 wickets. Our top story, just 5 days to go for the first phase of elections in Gujarat. Lots happening there. Let's start with all the updates coming in from the poll-bound state. Campaigning for the BJP in Gujarat, party president Amit Shah was in Somnath on Saturday. He offered prayers at the Somnath temple, where he is also a trustee member. The visit comes a day after the BJP registered an emphatic win in the UP civic polls and a week before the first phase of the crucial assembly election in his home state. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley was also in the poll-bound state on Saturday. Speaking to media persons in Surat, Arun Jaitley stressed on the importance of Gujarat for BJP and reiterated that the party has been winning and serving the state since the past 2 decades. He added that the BJP took the state on the path to development, while taking a jibe at the controversy surrounding Rahul Gandhi's religion.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी को तो हमेशा हिंदुत्व समर्थक दल माना गया। अगर दूसरे हमारी नकल करते हैं तो मुझे क्या शिकायत हो सकती है, लेकिन राजनीति का एक सिद्धांत है, there is a basic principle, when the original is available, why should people prefer a clone?
Well, the Congress too campaigned in the state with some of its top leaders holding meetings and talking to people. Former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and former Chief Minister of Delhi Sheila Dikshit campaigned for the party in the poll-bound state.
With 1 week to go for the first phase of polls in Gujarat, the opposition Congress has intensified its campaign with senior leaders descending on the state. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was at the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce in Surat, where he met traders. Speaking to them, he talked about the ill effects of demonetization and GST.
Apart from the problem of multiple rates, there are loopholes in the administrative arrangements for the implementation of GST. In particular, small businesses, traders and exporters have serious concerns which need to be addressed. Small scale and middle scale businesses, their problems require serious attention.
Delhi's former Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit was also in Ahmedabad to campaign for the party. Defending her party, she said that the Congress does not give importance to trivial issues.
Congress party जो कभी भी चुनाव कहीं पर भी लड़ती है तो विकास के नाम पर ही लड़ती है और जीतती भी विकास के नाम पर है। हमने कभी ना तो धर्म को, ना जाति को, ना बिरादरी को कभी मुद्दा नहीं बताया। हाँ, ये हम जरूर चाहते हैं कि सब बिरादरी के, सब जाति के लोग रिप्रेजेंट हो सके, जहाँ तक हो सकता है। कोई ऐसा ना हो कि रिप्रेजेंट नहीं हुआ, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, who has been campaigning relentlessly in Gujarat, took to Twitter on Saturday to question Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the low government spending on education in the BJP-ruled state. This was the fourth in Gandhi's series of questions to the Prime Minister. He accused the Prime Minister of commercializing education at the cost of government schools and institutions. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, with the first phase of elections in Gujarat just a week away, a team of the Election Commission arrived in Gujarat on Saturday to review preparations. Over the next 2 days, the panel, comprising of the Chief Election Commissioner and the Election Commissioners, will take stock of preparations in the poll-bound state. On Saturday, the team met with the police to review law and order situation. It also took stock of polling staff, electronic voting machines and voter verifiable paper audit trail systems, or the VVPATs, election material and other poll-related logistical issues during a meeting with district election officers. On Sunday, the Commission will hold a meeting with nodal officers, the Chief Secretary and other senior bureaucrats to review polling personnel management and deployment of police and paramilitary forces during the polls. The first phase is slated for 9th of December and the second phase on the 14th of December. On to the other big national stories. And Cyclone Oki, which claimed 16 lives in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, has now moved beyond Lakshadweep, the weather department confirmed on Saturday. However, many fishermen are still missing and warships have been deployed to comb the southeastern coast for fishing boats, perhaps missing in the rough seas. Here are more details.
Cyclone Oki has left a trail of destruction in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Lakshadweep. Several houses have been damaged, trees uprooted and communication lines disrupted in Lakshadweep as rains accompanied by strong winds lashed the islands. The very severe cyclonic storm Oki is likely to intensify further in the next 24 hours. It's likely to continue to move west-northwestwards across the Lakshadweep Islands and then recurve northeastwards. The death toll in Kerala and Tamil Nadu has crossed 15. Efforts are still underway to rescue fishermen still stranded on sea, while over 500 have been brought back ashore to safety. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has announced 10 lakh rupees compensation in addition to the financial assistance of 4 lakh rupees being given by the Fisheries Department. Assistance will also be provided to those who had lost their boat and equipment. Meanwhile, a fresh spell of heavy rains is in store in some areas of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Puducherry, with a low-pressure area forming over South Andaman Sea. The low-pressure area could become a depression over the Bay of Bengal. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
India was re-elected to the Council of International Maritime Organization on Friday. India secured 144 votes from member countries, just after Germany's 146 and ahead of Australia's 143 votes. India's re-election was under Category B, which represents developing nations with the largest interests in international seaborne trade. The IMO is a United Nations specialized agency entitled with the responsibility of safety and security of shipping and the prevention of marine pollution by ships. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu reached Guwahati in Assam on Saturday. At the airport, he was welcomed by Governor Jagdish Mukhi and Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal. After reaching Raj Bhavan, he met representatives of an organization of differently abled people. On Sunday, the Vice President will participate in a function to mark the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. And now let's take a look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Kumar Jain on Saturday said that if Delhi's Max Hospital continued with negligence, the state government will cancel their license. This came as a response to a shocking incident that came alight on Friday, that a newborn baby declared dead by Max Hospital in Delhi was found to be alive when the family was on its way to his funeral. The devastated parents said that they noticed one of the babies squirming inside the plastic bag in which the doctors placed the infants. Former Bihar Chief Minister Rabri Devi on Saturday appeared before the Enforcement Directorate in connection with the Railway Hotels contract scam. Rabri Devi went to the ED zonal office, where a special team of the agency from Delhi is expected to record her statement under the Preventing Money Laundering Act. Rabri had earlier skipped the ED summons at least 6 times. The Shiv Sena said on Saturday that Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis would withdraw his irresponsible statement with lauding, in fact, the contribution of outsiders to Mumbai. Fadnavis praised the contributions of North Indians and people from other states in the development of Mumbai. The Chief Minister said that the country's financial capital has always given shelter to many, and those who live there have added to the city's prestige. A quick break here. Up next, we'll give you the top international stories and also all the sports updates.
Hi, I am Dr. Mabali Rajan. I am a senior scientist in Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology, that is coming under CSIR. We are going to discuss my lab, who is doing a fantastic work in asthma, COPD, lung cancer and many other diseases. Keep watching Eureka.
The prolific British poet and story writer Joseph Rudyard Kipling, one of the first masters of short stories in English. In 1894 appeared his Jungle Book, which became a children's classic all over the world. Kim, the story of Kimball O'Hara and his adventures in the Himalayas, is perhaps his most felicitous work published. Set in and concerned with India he had come to know and love so well. In 1907, Kipling became the first English language writer to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritanshu Rai and you're watching Law of the Land.
Family draft lekar ke aiye, which covers all the aspect of marriage, nikah halala, maintenance, inheritance.
The government can step in and say that what is held to be illegal by the Supreme Court itself, we are just translating it into a law by making it punitive.
जो मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ बोर्ड ने कहा कि भाई ये हमारा रिलीजन है, इसलिए आप इसमें दखलंदाजी ना करें, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसको रिजेक्ट किया.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's get to international news. And US President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed satisfaction over the recently concluded Global Entrepreneurship Summit that was co-hosted by the two countries. The US President spoke to Prime Minister over the phone on Friday. President Trump's senior advisor and daughter, Ivanka Trump, had led the US delegation. This year's summit focused on supporting women entrepreneurs and fostering economic growth globally. This was the first time the global event was being held in South Asia. The US Senate has approved a sweeping tax overhaul, moving a step closer to President Trump's goal of slashing taxes for businesses and the rich, while offering everyday Americans a mixed bag of changes. After a marathon session that stretched overnight, the chamber voted 51 to 49 in favor of the nation's largest tax overhaul in 31 years. Republicans want to add $1.4 trillion over 10 years to the $20 trillion national debt in order to finance changes that they hope will further boost an already growing economy. Democrats slammed the measure as a giveaway to businesses and the rich, all financed with billions in taxpayers' debt. Talks will begin between the Senate and the House of Representatives, which has already approved its own tax bill. The two chambers must craft a single bill to send to Trump to sign into law.
Tonight, the Republicans provide $1 billion in tax breaks to the wealthiest people in this country and to the largest corporation, while raising the deficit by over $1.4 trillion. Part 2 of their plan, probably coming in a few months, will be to call for massive cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid in order to pay for their tax breaks to the rich.
Historians will mark today as one of the darkest black-letter days in the long history of this Senate.
And now an update on the Trump-Russia probe. Former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn on Friday pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about conversations with the Russian ambassador, which was weeks before Donald Trump became president. Flynn is the most senior member of the administration to be indicted. The charges were brought by special counsel Robert Mueller as part of his inquiry into alleged Russian meddling in the 2016 U.S. election. Flynn said that he was cooperating with the special counsel's office. Flynn was forced to resign 23 days into his job in February after he was questioned by the FBI for misleading the White House about meeting then Russian ambassador Sergei Kislyak before Trump took office. Experts say the senior official now under the spotlight is Jared Kushner, Trump's advisor and son-in-law. Meanwhile, the White House said that the guilty plea or the charge implicates no one other than Flynn.
Listen, I think we have got more work to do, and we're going to take as long as it takes to get all of the facts. You know, we've got a number of major figures like Donald Trump Jr., and I want to bring back Jared Kushner, particularly in light of some of the supposed comments that General Flynn may have been making.
This is an important moment for the Mueller investigation. It certainly demonstrates how methodical this investigation has been to date, how professional it has been to date. There really was not too much leaking about this, and how unlikely that it is to lead to, this does not seem at all to be the end of the investigation. If anything, one would expect that we are going to now see perhaps other dominoes will now fall.
And here are some more updates from across the world in Global Buzz. A U.S. Navy veteran pleaded not guilty to charges of killing an Indian techie and injuring 2 others in a racially motivated hate crime at a bar in Kansas City in February this year. 52-year-old Adam Purinton was charged with first-degree murder that killed 32-year-old Srinivas Kuchibhotla. The next hearing is slated for the 8th of May. He faces a maximum penalty of death or life in prison. Hawaii resumed monthly statewide testing of Cold War-era nuclear attack warning sirens in preparation for a possible missile strike by North Korea. State Emergency Management Authority said they decided to reactivate the state's nuclear attack sirens for the first time since the 1980s, after experts said that some of North Korea's missiles are capable of reaching Hawaii. Pope Francis greeted a crowd of enthusiastic youths at the Notre Dame College in Dhaka on Saturday, where students danced and sang in his honor as the pontiff wrapped up his 3-day visit to Bangladesh. The pontiff ended a diplomatically tricky trip to Asia on Saturday, seeking the forgiveness of Rohingya Muslim refugees in Bangladesh after his controversial decision to not directly refer to their plight when he visited their homeland, Myanmar. In Australia, former Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce can expect to find himself back in Parliament by as early as next week after securing more than 63% of first preferences in the New England by-election. The return of the Nationals leader and Deputy Prime Minister will bring the Turnbull government's numbers in the lower house back up to 75. It will also give the Nationals a fillip, with the party vulnerable because of One Nation's resurgence in regional areas. Heavy rain caused severe flooding in the Australian state of Victoria on Saturday, with more than 200 millimetres of rain expected to fall in just 2 days. Alerts were issued for the Yarra, the city's main river, which could flood with residents in Urea of Victoria's northeast. Some major roads were also closed as a precautionary measure, and some international flights were diverted to other Australian cities. On to sports news, and at the World Cup draw that took place at the State Kremlin Palace in Moscow on Friday, all 32 qualified teams for the tournament discovered who they would face in the group stage. Spain's clash against Portugal is one of the most exciting encounters to look forward to.
Hosts Russia will kick off next year's World Cup finals versus Saudi Arabia in Moscow, and defending champions Germany will start against Mexico after Friday's draw threw up some mouth-watering clashes. 5 times winners Brazil will face Switzerland in their first Group E match, with Costa Rica and Serbia making up one of the tougher-looking of the 8 groups. European champions Portugal will play Iberian neighbours Spain in their first match in Group B, while Argentina were placed in Group D with newcomers Iceland, Croatia and Nigeria. England will face the other debut nation, Panama, in Group G, in which Belgium are the top seeds. Unlike previous laborious draw ceremonies, Friday's event at the State Kremlin Palace was a quick-fire operation.
I would like to wish success to all the competing teams, and I call upon all loyal fans to come here to Russia to enjoy the finals of 2018.
And the world coming to Russia next year, 1.5 million people from all over the world, they will find that Russia is a welcoming country, that Russia is a warm country, that you can celebrate football in this country with the Russian people who are waiting just for that.
After speeches by Russian President Vladimir Putin and FIFA chief Gianni Infantino, the business of drawing the 32 balls from the 4 pots began with 8 World Cup greats, including Argentina's Diego Maradona and France's 1998 captain Laurent Blanc, assisting in the process.
Saudi Arabia.
The month-long tournament, taking place across 11 host cities from Kaliningrad in the west to Ekaterinburg, 2,500 kilometers away in the east, begins on June 14. It will involve 64 matches in total, with the final taking place in Moscow's Luzhniki Stadium on July 15th. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, now getting on to India, that were 371 for 4 at stumps on the opening day of the 3rd test against Sri Lanka. Murali Vijay and skipper Virat Kohli scored centuries. Vijay in fact scored 155 runs, while Kohli made an unbeaten 156. This was Kohli's 8th 150-plus score in tests and became the first ever international captain to hit 3 consecutive hundreds in test format. Rohit Sharma was at the crease with the skipper on 6 runs. Lakshan Sandakan picked up 2 wickets as he got Murali Vijay and Ajinkya Rahane, while Dilruwan Pereira and Lahiru Gamage picked 1 wicket each.
Fantastic player, leading India.
And finally, let's get you some more updates from the world of sports in Sports Beat. Samuel Ward scored twice as England defeated India 3-2 in the FIH Hockey World League final group stage match. David Goodfield scored the opener for England. Samuel Ward scored the second to extend the lead to 2-0. Goals from Akashdeep Singh and Rupinder Pal Singh helped India to equalize the score, but Samuel Ward turned the game in the last quarter to clinch the victory 3-2. Indian shuttler Rutvika Shivani Gadde and Riya Mukherjee will contest in the women's singles final of the Tata Open India International Badminton Challenge in Mumbai on Sunday. While in the men's final, 6th-seeded Lakshya Sen will face S. Thamasin of Thailand. Rutvika defeated Malaysia's M. Thinner 21-17, 21-9 in the first women's singles semi-final, while Sen beat 2nd-seeded compatriot Abhishek Yelegar 21-10, 21-12 in the men's semi-final. Ben Stokes has said that he is hoping to do well on his return to competitive cricket with New Zealand's provincial side Canterbury. Stokes was omitted from the England touring team to Australia and was suspended because of a police investigation into an incident. Canterbury Cricket Association signed Stokes this week. Tiger Woods fired a 4-under 68 despite a pair of bogeys on the back nine as his comeback continued into the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas. The second-round effort, which included an eagle and 4 birdies, left the former world number 1 tied for 5th place at 7-under 137 in his first tournament after injury. Charlie Hoffman's 63 took the lead at 12-under 132, while Justin Rose finished at 68 and was alone at 4th position at 136 with Woods. That's it on the news tonight. Thank you for joining us.